Shalom. Before I begin, I want to give all praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushua, Ba'ashem Chakwadash, and the Barn City Apostles, and Elders Great Millstone, and Shalom to the I Temptation's Word, Dr. Four Corners, and True Sincerity. Back on the lesson, through the Spirit upon Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushua, and Lord willing to be edifying us to the elect. The topic of this lesson is going into how, more light is being shed, on this truth, every day. All right, and when I say that, it's like it, when I say that, it's related to the situation with Drewski. If you don't know what it is, all right, it's basically a video of a guy named Drewski, a comedian, all right, making a joke about the making a joke about the Hebrew Israelites. Okay, on one hand, you may look at it as, Jake, scoffing, which he was scoffing, but it's a double-sided coin as well, because what he's doing is just bringing more light to the situation, to what we've been, saying for years. That Jake be watching and they be scoffing, all right, and the Lord not playing around. Okay, everybody knows, and Drewski has millions of followers, so that video is reaching millions of people. All right, and when you go into the comments, you just see people just laughing and etc. All right, but hey, they can laugh now but cry later. And it's not, we just mad at the nigga. Nah. All right. This is the scripture say our people's go scoff. Right? You go to Proverbs 1. Proverbs 1 and let's start at 20 says, wisdom cry without. She uttered her voice in the streets, right? Because we out there on the highways and byways teaching the word. We out there in the street. And that was in his video. How we would be out in the street. Okay. Screaming, that's right. Shit like that. Right? And it says she cried in the chief place of concourse. In the opening of the gates in the city, she uttered her words, saying, how long will you simple ones? Will you love simplicity? And the scorners align their scornings, and fools hate knowledge. So, Jake, how long? Will you continue to be simple and despise the wisdom and knowledge of Yahweh Shai? Okay, because, they make it a joke now, but when his shit hit the fan, who they go run to, right? Who they go try to run to? The prophets. Who they go try to run to? The prophets of the Lord. Who are those guys that we was making fun of? Where they at? Right, it happened with the C-19. All right, they was looking for us. They was saying, where those guys at that be teaching? All right, it says, turn your mouth reproof, behold, I'll pour my spirit upon you. I'll make known my words unto you. And that's exactly what he did. That's why you got Drewski making videos about the Hebrew Israelites. Because these words are being made known unto our people. But they look at it as entertainment. But you're not supposed to look at this truth as entertainment. All right? Our people don't look at this as just black niggas, black monkeys, teaching on the street, just mad at the white man. They broke. They broke it. They just broke. Just mad at the world. Yeah, we're mad at the world. But this is in the scriptures. The Lord told us to go out on the highways and byways and teach the word. To wake up. All right. Israel starting with the elect. So they can get the truth. So we can get the fuck up out of here. So the elect can be sealed. All right. It says, because I have called and he refused. I've stretched out my hand and no man regarded. So the Lord is constantly, stretches out his hand. All right. And making his words known unto our people. And it's not only Drewski. It's been multiple celebrities saying that they're Israelites. There's been multiple, people making videos about the Hebrew Israelites. All right. So, the Lord is, constantly, making it known. All right. Who the true men are, or his words are being known. All right. The truth. Okay. But again, that video shows how, you know, the Lord is stretching out his hand and nobody's regarding. All right, nobody is using their common sense. All right, who are these guys? What are they what are they really talking about? All right, there's gonna be some that's gonna, you know, try to search and see, and that's gonna be the elect. But for the majority, all right, they ain't gonna really receive it. They gonna laugh and, you know, be like, "Hey man, yeah, that was a funny video. Yeah, them guys is crazy," and then keep on going about their day. But the other side of the coin is that it's gonna be certain members of the elect that's gonna watch that video, all right, and actually take heed, all right, and be like, all right, these guys are, you know, they always being talked about Hebrew Israelites. Let me do some kind of research, and even in the video, you know, the guy Drewski, he had the name Yahweh, you know, written in the Hebrew, all right, on one of the shirts, okay, you know, showing you that Jake know, all right, and that nigga know too, shit. Cause how were you able to make that video? You had to do some research. You know, he probably watched a couple videos. You know, watched a couple videos. You know, he did his homework. All right, planned it out. All right, studied it, you know, for probably a couple days or weeks. All right, to make that Slovakia. All right, to make that entertainment. All right, to make that entertainment. All right, and that's just, you know, making the situation better, you know, for the Lord. So our people won't say they didn't know. It's John 15 and 22. It's just, if I had not come and spoken unto them, they had not sinned. So if the Lord ain't come, all right, they'll be blameless to say, all right, they ain't hear the message. It says, but now they have no cloak for their sin, because the prophets, again, we've been out there teaching the word. Everybody knows who are the Hebrew Israelites now. It's not just something that's been hid. All right, this is not the late 60s. All right, where there wasn't, you know, the YouTube. All right, this truth has gone, you know, worldwide. You know, this truth has gone out like a wildfire. All right, for us, and that's, you know, a good thing. All right, because, you know, that happened is just ushering the kingdom. You know, especially with everything that's going on now with Trump and ICE. And Trump basically, you know, moving like a cruel lord in the earth, and having these you know, different digital currencies in place. All right, and you know, we just getting closer and closer to Jacob's trouble. It's any day now, shit can hit the fan. All right, when shit hit the fans, they will know. All right, because they're gonna remember that Drewski video. All right, damn, you know, them guys was right. That shit happened. I remember that one nigga made a video about it, you know, scoffing. Right? But who would have known they was right? All right, everybody will know who was right when it's going to be too late. All right, and the Lord not going to be, you know, near. Because, again, the famine of the word is coming. All right. This is Amos 8 and 11. It says, behold, the days come, said the Lord Yahweh. But, it's like that. I will send a famine in the land, not a famine of bread, nor a thirst for water, but of hearing the words of the Lord Yahweh. And they shall wander from sea to sea, and from the north even to the east. They shall run to and fro to seek the word of the Lord Yahweh, and shall not find it. So you see, so this is a future prophecy. All right, this is gonna happen in the very near future, because you already have Esau taking videos down. There's already a agenda, all right, to you know, have it where freedom of speech is gonna be ultimately taken away. You know what that means. All right, that's gonna be, all right, eventually us, you know, not be able to, you know, teach. All right, and it's gonna even be to the point where it's gonna be, you know, what's the word I'm looking for? It's gonna be to the point where we won't be able to go out and teach, and it's gonna be a point where we won't be able to upload on the internet. You know, for example, EMP attack may happen. We can't go out and teach, right? We can't upload our videos, all right? Our shit hit the, you know, all hell's breaking loose. We can't go out and teach, all right? And that's going to be the famine of the word. But it's going to be too late, right? This is Romans 10 and 8. It says, but I say, 17 says, done faith coming by hearing, and hearing by the word of the Most High. But I say, have they not heard? Yes, verily, their sound went into all the earth, and their words unto the ends of the world. So, the Lord is, blameless. All right, we have the internet. All right, all it takes is a quick Google search. Hebrew Israelites, you're going to find, lessons, videos, whether it be from GMS or not. It's always that same basis, right? That same message to repent. The kingdom is coming. All right, you are Israelite. All right, Esau's kingdom is falling. All right, seek the truth. Because we are living in the last days. All right. And that Jesus video did a very good job, an example, of this precept. All right. Because you upload on the internet, everybody see it. Whether they following him or not, they go see the video. It's going to pop up on their feed. Okay, and especially because he has millions of followers and he's verified, right? People are going to be likely to see him more. All right. This is Ezekiel 33. Looks like it. Yeah, 33. Ezekiel 33. Just like it. And 30. It says, also, thou son of man, the children of thy people still are talking against thee by the walls and in the doors of the houses, and speak one to another, everyone to his brother, saying, come, I pray you, and hear what is the word that cometh forth from the Lord. And they come unto thee as the people cometh, and they sit before thee as my people. And they hear thy words, but they will not do them. For with their mouth they show much love, but their heart goeth after their covetousness. And lo, thou art to them as a very lovely song of one that had a pleasant voice and can play well on an instrument. For they hear thy words, but they do them not. So to us, to them, so lucky to them, they look at us as a form of entertainment. All right, them guys funny. All right, they funny. They yelling and shit. All right, they got dresses on, etc. Especially with the Juicy situation. Screaming, that's right. All right, they hearing the words, but they not doing what's required. They not, repenting. It says, and when this cometh to pass, lo, it will come, right? Then shall they know that a prophet had been among them. So when shit hit the fan, when the famine of the word hit, then they gonna know that, that this just wasn't a regular old, activist, movement. All right, this was the Lord, trying to speak to them, because the scriptures tell us that the Lord is knocking at the door, and Jay gotta open the door so the Lord can sup with you. But they just, hear the door knocking, and they just, continuing in their folly. But how long? Like it say, how long will you simple ones, just to quote it, read it again in Proverbs 1:22 says, how long will you simple ones, how long you simple ones will you love simplicity, and the scorners are light in their scornings and full hate knowledge. So how long? Right? Because Jake, as you can see, shit is just constantly getting worse and worse. All right, your situation of living, Trump is constantly, doing things to come after you. All right, the Lord is causing hurricanes to judge our people. All right, it's, the way you're living is getting more expensive. So how long? It gets to a point where you have to start thinking. All right, Jay got to use their fucking brain. Stop smoking weed, right? All right, stop going outside and, doing the same shit, chasing hoes. All right, there's something happening within the earth, and you have to see it. As an Israelite man, all right, get your testosterone up. Stop being a little kid. All right, stop with the game. Stop with the dancing. All right, shit is getting serious. All right, the Lord is bringing judgment down the wire, and shit ain't really even get bad yet. You know, scriptures talk about, you know, in Jeremiah 30. In Jeremiah 30 and 4, we'll start at 4. It says, "For thus saith the Lord Yahweh, we have heard a voice of trembling, of fear, not of peace. Actually, now I see where the man doth travail with child. Wherefore do I see every man with his hands on his loins, as a woman in travail, and our faces are turned into paleness." So how long, Jake? All right, because as it said, it says, we heard a voice of trembling, of fear, not of peace. So peaceful times are not coming. All right. And actually now, see, where do you see a man doth travail with child? So basically, a man being in so much pain is like a woman, you know, giving birth. All right. It says, "The last for that day is great, so that none is like it. It is even the time of Jacob's trouble." And we're in Jacob's trouble now. But it's going to get worse. It's going to get way worse. All right, because Jake still got power on in their house. They still could go home and shit. But it's going to be a point where you're going to be on a constant 24/7 survival mode. All right, trying to feed or trying to eat. All right. And not even be able to find food. All right. You know, with that alone, this lesson was edifying. We'll give our praises to Yahweh, Bashim, Yahshua, Bashim, Chakwadash, and give honor to the apostles and elders, great millstone, and shalom to the item teaching this word. The four corners and truth and sincerity. We want out of here, shalom.